Hey everyone, today we are going to create a CRM and also we are going to add an automatic workflow for generating contracts. So basically what it's going to do is fill all the information of your client or supplier and so on. So here, because the CRM is a client information or a proposal information with the deal details as well. And so we are going to go through the CRM structure, a simple CRM structure, and then afterwards we are going to show a little bit how to create this kind of automations. We are going to use two popular tools as well, which are Google Docs and DocuSign. So I believe you can even use both for free, maybe for this automation. And we will also show you how to do this step by step on Jester, like with all the configurations in order to make it work. If you want to do something different, like create any other kind of contract, it will be almost the same steps, but then you're going to change the data structure. So as we said before, here it's a CRM and it's a contract, so it will be opportunity data or proposal data, and it will automatically generate it and send for our clients. In this case, we created buttons because it's one way that our clients really like to use is just clicking instead of moving through stages, but it's also possible. And we are going to use zero code in this example. So that's the interesting part. So it's all automated. Your data is well structured. You have your app with all the navigation parts as well. So I believe that's the idea of the live today, right, Fernando?
Exactly. This is a simplified version of a CRM. We have another CRM which is a little bit more complex. There's a little bit more stuff going on. But the idea here is to showcase the integration with Google Docs and DocuSign. So the idea here is to have, in a very simple manner, in a very easy to use manner, um, a way for you to have a database of clients, and from that database automatically get the information from your client, generate an agreement or a contract, and after you review it, you with just a click of a button, you can send it through DocuSign, so you can have it digitally signed. So the idea here is to really simplify the process, so it's easy and it's quick, because we know that a lot of the time when people have this process of generating agreements, writing them up, sending them to sign, we know that that's a huge time sink, because one, if you're going to create an agreement from the ground up, or at least using a template but doing it manually, you're going to waste a lot of time. It's a really time consuming process. It's a very error prone process, so it's very easy to mess something up. If you have recurring clients, you usually have this problem of having to copy the same information over and over again. So having this database of clients really helps here. And when you're sending the documents through DocuSign, so after you've written the agreement, you have the PDF file all ready to go. It's still not very quick because you still have to go to the platform and then upload the file and then point out where each person is going to sign. So there's a lot to do manually if you're not using integrations like we're going to use right now. So the idea here is to show you guys how you can really simplify and have, like, with just 2 clicks of this process with way less margin for error, and way quicker, so you guys can focus on selling instead of copying information and stuff like that. So I'm just going to show the structure and how does this work. So before we show the agreement generation and so on, I'm going to show you guys the client list. So it's the second part of the CRM. It's the database of clients. So you have here a client list with a list view in which you can see some information. And then if you click on this client, you open a super form, so you can update their information, you can update their picture, update name, company name. You can see that we're using super form here because you can see that we have stuff like more than one field in the same row. So we have the inline going on. We have this different view for tags. And so the idea here is that you can have like a database, a centralized database of client information, because when you go to the CRM, then you can have multiple deals, multiple opportunities to the same client, and then you don't have to input the same information over and over and over again. You can always use whatever you already have in your database. So let's create a new deal. Let's create here to new opportunity. So as you can see, it's very simple, but the idea here is just to show you guys how this template works. So let's get a client here. For example, let's get Juliet. And let's say that this is for managing social media. And it's going to start today. And it's going to be $1,000 per month. So let's create this card. And there you go. Here she is. So you have the standard structure of a CRM, you have the Kanban view, and then you can move through stages and so on. So assuming we have all the information we need, so as you can see, we have the amount, we have the start date, and if I open the client information, Juliet here, I have stuff like address, company name, email, and so on. So all the information is not on the Kanban itself, but it's connected through the client connected field. So I'm going to click on generate, and this is integrated to Google Docs, and I'm going to show you guys the template doc itself, but let's just wait for it to generate. It can take a little bit, but it must, yeah. So right now, so let's open this file, and you can see that this is our PDF generated from our template. Here's the information from the client database. So this is dynamic. The dates themselves are following what we entered in the Kanban card. And you can see here's the amount monthly and so on. So all of this is generated dynamically and automatically. And this template is coming from Google Docs. So I have this document in my account, and you can see that we have some variables here. So this is the space where the client's name goes. This is the space where the address goes. If we scroll a little bit further, you can see that we have variables for date and so on. They don't have to be exactly in the same formatting that we're showing right now. I'm going to show you guys how the integration works. But the idea here is that I have a template, it's saved to my Google account, and just by clicking on generate, it's going to pull information from the smart from the Kanban view and the connected client record to generate this PDF. Okay, so the only thing that I'm going to do here, I'm going to change Juliet's email to a test email account that I have here to send the DocuSign. So just a second, let's say normal Gmail email. So there you go. So you meet with her, you generate the proposal, then you move her to proposal. Here's the agreement that we generate, the PDF file, and then we can click on send. And this is going to send this agreement through DocuSign. So we just have to wait till it sends. There you go. And any moment now it's going to come here. So it may take a while because it's a DocuSign sending the agreement through to our Gmail account. But as soon as it gets there, we can show you guys. So as we're waiting for the document to arrive, let's show you guys how this template works. So you guys can see the add page for the Kanban itself. So there's a Kanban component here. There's a title bar with a search filter. The client list is similar. So we have the list view with the search filter and the menu bar. And if you think about it, there's two databases that I have in this template. There's the client list, the client database, and then there's the proposals list, the database for the CRM itself. So let's check this. Let's go to the tables that we've created. So we have first the table for proposals, which is the database of opportunities. So we have the title for the opportunity, the start date for the service, you have a files field for the proposal, you have a value for amount, you have the connection to the client, and then you have a single option field for the stage, which are the columns in the Kanban. And then you also have the client database. So let's go there, client's proposal. And there's this table for the client's proposal. You can see that there's a picture field for the client. There's the name of the client, the company name, the address, the email, and so on and so forth. So you guys can see that this is all the information that we had on the list view, and this is the information that Google Docs is pulling to create the PDF file. Okay, so how do the integrations work with Google Docs and DocuSign? So let's go back to proposals. And we have these two buttons, which are generate and send. They are automation buttons. So if I edit this field, you can see that it's a generate button. Whenever you created an automation button, you can create a label. It's what's going to appear here on the button itself. You can search for an emoji or an icon, which is going to be right next to the label, and a color for the button itself. And then there's the automation. So let's click on edit to see the automation. And you can see that whenever I click this button, it's going to generate a PDF from a Google Docs template. So let's access this. And I already have an account connected to this test account, but if you wanted to do it, there would be a button here to add connection, and then it's a simple OAuth single sign-on process. All you have to do is click that you grant access, so the integration can have access to the templates in your account. Then you search for a document, which is the template that you're going to use. In this case, it's this template. So this is the template that I'm using now, and I selected it here. So here's the most important part for
you can customize your template as much as you want. So you can use all the tools that the Google Docs has, like colors, underline, I don't know, sections, whatever tool you use on Google Docs. You are able to customize there, and then you just come here to replace variables, right, Ren?
Exactly. So this is the most important part of the integration. So I'm going to explain it a little bit in further detail now. So after you select your account and the document that you want to use, there's this part for text replacement. This means that the integration is going to search for variables in your text, and it's going to substitute them for whatever you put in that automation. So let's take an example. You can see here that we have this variable for client's name. So we have like those brackets and client's name between them. So if I know this is a variable, all I have to do here on the integration is say, you're going to substitute every time you see client's name between brackets, you're going to substitute for my client's name. And if you click on this box, the variable box is going to appear, and then you can get information from the Kanban card or from connected parts. So like I said before, we have a connection to the client, so we can get the client's address from this connection. So every time I have a variable right here, so for example, date or client's company name, I'm going to go here and say, you're going to substitute this variable for this information. And you can see that I'm using information from the client, but I'm also using dynamic. For the dates, I'm changing the current date, the date that when I press the button, The date, I can format it. So basically what I'm saying here, it's that it's sending the month's name, day, comma, year. And so basically what I'm doing here is just filling in the information, pairing the information, so you have variable and whatever you want to substitute. And then after you do that, you select the table where you want to save the PDF file that was generated. So what I'm telling the integration here is that you go back here to proposals and you save the PDF file in the proposal field, which is this one. It's a files field. And to finish this off, all you have to do is choose the new document's name, because what this integration is doing is copying the template, substituting the information, and saving a new file. So you have to say what's going to be the new file's name. So this is how the Google Docs integration works. And then we have the DocuSign integration, which is this one on the send button. So let's edit this. And let's see the integration itself. So you have here, when I press this button, when I click on this button, it's going to send a document or more than one document to signature. So let's see how does this work. So you can see here that I already have a connection. If you have a DocuSign account, you just have to use the single sign-on window to do this. So basically what I'm setting up here is the email subject. This is the email that's going to be sent to the client. The documents that I'm going to send, so I'm basically sending the files in this field. So you can see here that it's named proposal, which is the name of this column. And then I'm going to send information from the signers, the people that are going to sign the document. So the first one is usually going to be fixed, because it's going to be someone in your company. So I'm putting my name and email. And then there's something called signing anchor, which is, let me show you guys. So this is the document that was sent. Oh, yeah. And you can see that DocuSign knows where the person has to sign, right? So there's this stamp here to sign exactly where I want. So basically what I'm doing here is through the signing anchor, which is this part. And if I go back to the template, and this is a little trick that it's useful to know, right below the line for signatures, you can see that I have this text that it's very tiny and it's in white, so it's not visible. But I can show you guys that there's actually something here. So there's hashtag signature one hashtag. So this was kind of a hidden text. It was very tiny. It was in a white font. So basically, what I told DocuSign through the integration is that it's going to look for that hidden text, hashtag signature one, hashtag, and it's going to be the place where the person has to sign. And we could do this for initials as well, if you want initials on the other pages. So basically, you need to have this hidden variable that you're going to make it white font. It's going to be hidden, and you're going to tell DocuSign, this is where the person signs, this is where the person puts their initials. And so we have the second part, which is the client. We're pulling information from the connection. So name, it's client name, email, it's client email, and they're going to sign in signature 2. And then later you can put in carbon copy recipients. Those are the people that are going to receive a copy through DocuSign, but they're not going to, they don't have to sign. They're only going to receive a copy, so they know what's going on. So basically, this is how you set this up. And then when you click on send, it sends the document like this. So you can see that this is a real example. This is the document that we sent just a few moments ago. We have other integrations with other platforms. So maybe you don't use DocuSign, maybe you use something else. We have some other integrations. We're doing this with DocuSign because it's one of the most used. Our clients mainly use DocuSign. We see that there's a higher demand for it. But if you use another sort of tool, it's also possible to integrate it as well. So this is the structure. This is how the part to generate the PDF works. This is how the part to send the DocSign works. And then all you have to do later is create the app itself. So as you guys can see, this is the final result. There's a Kanban, there's a search filter, and I could operate everything through this Kanban view, and there's the client list. So here you go, and we have the forms to create and update stuff. So to create this, it's actually quite simple. We already have the structure. I'm not going to create a separate structure. We're just going to use the ones that I've already created. But first, let's think about this. There's two pages. There's the Kanban page, and then there's the client list page. Let's start by creating the client list. So I'm going to call this client list live. Just create this app page. So I'm going to click on more blocks and search for list. And so I click on this. And I'm going to get the client proposals, which is the table for the clients. And as you can see, there's this list with example data on the left. So this is how it's going to look like. So there's the cover, right? So there's this part. And I want the picture of my client. I want their company name, their address, their email, and their tags on this list. So let's just save to see how this is working. Yeah, so basically this is what I've wanted, right? This is the information that I've wanted. Actually, I didn't want address, so I can just click on edit and remove address, click on save. Okay, so now we can create a search filter. It's going to be used in the title bar, but we have to create it separately. So let's click on add filter, and all we had was a tag button. So we can select a specific tag to search for a specific line. So let's get this. And the tags are in the tags field in the client database, right? So I'm going to select from field from the table clients proposals, and I'm going to get things from the field tags. And then when I select the tag, I'm going to filter this list view by the tags field. So let's click on create. And the filter is down here, but then I can come here and select games, and it's going to filter. Juliet is the only one in games, but I can go here to health, and it filters out. Cool. So let's go back to create block, and let's create a title bar. So we can put this filter there. So let's add this color, or black, I don't know. Okay, so it's going to be a title bar. It's already up here. There's the add record button. It's going to add clients. The button is going to be white. Add client. And then, oops, I'm going to put the search filter that I've just created on this title bar. So let's click on save. And there you go. So now it's up here instead of down there. It's a little bit easier to use. Okay, so let's create another page now for the Kanban view. And this is going to be proposal CRM live as well. Now I'm going to create a smart Kanban. So let's just resize it and reposition it. So this Kanban view, it's getting information from the proposals table. And the field stage is the one that is going to be the one used for creating the columns, right? In this fields part, what I'm selecting here is the fields that are going to appear in the cover of the card, in the front part of the card. So what I want here is, let's see, I want amount, I want client, I want start date, I want proposal, I want the buttons, I don't want stage. So basically I'm selecting the information that I want to appear on the card, and then I'm just shuffling them around. And I don't want the button to add a card directly to a stage, so I'm going to unswitch this. So there you go. It's pulling information from the proposals, so it's very similar to what we had on the other app page. So I'm going to do something that we did on the other page, which was creating a search filter. And we're going to have two filters here. We're going to have one for client. So we're going to be able to select a client and see all the deals, all the opportunities for that client specifically. So for that filter type, I'm going to use record ID, which basically lets me select someone from a different table, which is the clients table. And then once I selected a client, I'm going to filter the Kanban by the client. And I'm just going to create one more filter button, which is going to be the interval, the date range. So the idea here is that I'm going to select a specific range of time, and then it's going to filter by the start date of the service. So there you go. So here it is. And then I'm going to create a title bar. So this filter can be up there instead of down here. So the title bar is going to be black. I'll be able to create proposals or opportunities. The button's going to be white. So we're customizing labels here, and I'm going to get the filter that I've just created. There you go. So I can just select a client here. So let's see something from Laura, and it's going to filter the information. I'm also seeing that it's showing information that's empty, so I don't want that. I'm going to edit the Kanban, and I'm going to toggle this. There you go, hide card, empty fields. And you can see that it shrinks the card and it doesn't show fields that are empty. It's a little bit easier to see things now. And now we have to pack this into one single app. So now we have two separate app pages, and we want to make it easier to navigate between them. We want to condense them into a single app. So what I'm going to do here is click on Create Block, and we're going to add a menu bar. And this is what's going to bring this all up into a single app. Okay. So we can customize what's going to appear here or add a logo. We're not going to do that right now. We're just going to change colors, and then we're going to change what's appearing here on the menu. So I want to have the proposal, which is this Kanban view, and I want to have the client list. We could also customize what's going to appear here, the settings, the the navigation parts, but I'm just going to click on save here and use it as it is. Okay, so here you go. And then you have the app itself. So here are the proposals, the CRM itself, and then I can click on client list. And it's that part that I've just created, right? So there's just one more thing that we have to do now, which is going to be a little bit more evident if I try to add a client. So I'm going to click on add client, and it brings up the standard window, the standard panel in Gesture. So this is quite functional. I could use it as it is, but like we've said in other live streams, the best way to enter information, update information, check information in Gesture is through super forms. So they're a little bit more customizable. They're a little bit easier to use. So we're going to go ahead and substitute the standard panel for super forms. So I'm going to close this, toggle builder mode. And then what I'm going to do in this template is that all the forms that I need in this template, I'm going to put them all in the same page, because I'm not going to use them anywhere else. So in just one page, I have everything that I need. So let's name this form proposals live. So every form that I need is going to be here. Let's create a super form.
To always create this app page, because then you can just organize all your forms. It's not a page that your end user is going to actually use. It's just a place to manage all the forms that you may have. You can create more than one, of course. You could create one for each, but it's easier to find if you have most of them on the same place, especially if it's for the same process, because maybe you want one for creating, another one for updating, another one for a Kanban, another one for a list. And the ideal process usually have different forms for each block or each app page that you're going to use, because then you can be really specific on the steps, on the conditionals, on the colors, on the fields that you want to display, and so on. So we are going to show here just a few of them, just like I think two different forms, or maybe more. But the idea is that you can customize uh, one for every situation that you may need, in order to avoid mistakes or even to make your process faster, because sometimes you have a form with too many fields, or information that's not regarding that specific step, and so on. So that's a really important part of creating good a really good internal tool for your team.
Exactly. So we're going to create two forms right now. So it's for the client database. So we're going to create a form to create new clients, to add new clients, and then we're going to create a super form for updating or checking on existing clients information. So I'm just going to change here the title to add client description. I've changed it a bit. I've removed the logo and the cover. You could have it, but I'm removing it. But if you had it, it's going to be just like what you're seeing on screen right now. So this form is going to create clients in the clients proposals database. And it's going to create those clients. And I'm going to select the fields that you have to use. So it's name, picture, company name, address, email, and tags. So I can now reorganize them. So I want picture to be first, then name, then company name, then address, email, tags. This is all okay. So I can put in name as required, for example, and I can add a block for inline. So name and company name are right next to each other on the same row. And for the tags field, I could customize them. So I can change their appearance a little bit. I'm going to just leave it like it is, but you can see that we have more options if you don't like the way they look on their standard view. So So I'm going to click on create. So this is the form to add client. Here you go, name is required. So if I write anything, I can submit it. So all I'm going to do right now is just add a little bit of color here. It's going to be black on the title. There you go. So I'm going to resize this. Like Bruno said, it's not going to be used by the end user on this page. So I'm just going to resize it so it's a little bit tinier. It doesn't matter because people are not going to be using it here. And then I have to create a form for checking on client info or updating client info. So for that, I'm just going to clone this block. So the form is basically almost already everything that I need. It's a form for client information, but this form is also for creating new clients. So I'm going to edit this. I'm going to change this to client info. Use this form to check or update client info. And I'm going to I'm going to keep all the same fields. I want the structure to be very similar, but I'm going to change this to update record. So this is a form that's going to be used to update a client info. So you can see that the form changed, and I can select the client here. Let's get hero. And then I can see their information or change it as needed. Okay, so now we have those two forms. We
One
can go
advantage
back.
of having the form on one page is that you can kind of compare them at the same time because, for example, if you have the same table being edited and creating specific cards and records, you can compare this first form, like the creation form, and then the update form, and make sure that you have the information that you actually want for each of them. And also, if it's just it's easier, as we were speaking before. If you have too many forms, is also bad because then they would be kind of smashed in the middle, and that's not ideal. But to organize like a creation, new card form and an update form side by side, it's nice. So maybe if you had another table, you would do it below or in another web page.
Exactly. So final step, let's go back to the app page where we have the client list, which is this one. So as you guys can see, if I click here on add client, the standard panel pops up. And if I click on the client, the standard modal, the standard window pops up as well. So we're going to change that, and I'm going to edit. First, I'm going to edit the title bar, which is where the add client part is. So you can see that there's this option for the record creation form, and right now it's on follow standard table rules. So basically use the standard panel, right? So I'm going to switch this off, and I'm going to go to the I forgot its forms. There we go. Proposal forms. Here we go. And then I can select the form, new client, and I can just save it. And now when I click on this add client, oh, I got the other form that I had created before, but basically it's the same idea, right? So now it's using the super form instead of using the standard panel. So I'm going to do the same thing to the list. I can click on edit, and then let's just change this. So for the update record form, we have this follow standard table rules, which basically means use the standard window, use the standard table. We're going to disable this, and then we're going to get the proposal forms. I think it's this one, actually. And we're going to get the client info form. And we can change this, right? So instead of this, let's go with opening full screen, for example. So let's click on save. And now instead of popping the standard panel, it's going to use the form that we just created. So basically, we could do this for the Kanban, for the opportunities, and you can do basically this to any part of Gesture that you want to use. So if you have a component, if you're going to add a new record or update a record, super forms are the best way to do this. You could always use the standard panel, but we highly encourage people to use the super form because there's a lot more options for customizing. There's more options to view fields in different manners. So there are different ways of seeing the same field. So you have single option you could see as a radio field. You could see it as a drop down menu. So ideally, if you want to have this really customizable experience, you should be using Superforms, right? But I think that's mainly it. Bruno, I don't know if you have any other part that you want to go through.
No, just as a reminder, we'll have this also on our template platform. So if you want to download this, edit, check, maybe you want to add to go and do some changes in order to, instead of clients, change for suppliers or any other kind of a contract that you want to manage, it would be a good starting point. So, and also if you have any other suggestions, just let us know and we will bring this topic for the next live here next week. See you guys. Thank you.